Dungeon Masters of Reddit, which of your sure why nots had the biggest unintended repercussions? For more infotainment, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get new video updates. Thanks for watching. I started a campaign where the group was coming together at a coastal town. A massive titan rose from the waters some distance from shore and was meant to be a cinematic incident triggering a chain of prophetic events. But there's one in every group. Among the level 1s, one of the guys decided he was going to swim out and challenge the thing. It wasn't what I intended, but I allowed it and forced stat checks once he got into deep enough water since he didn't have the swim skill. He failed and started drowning. Cue the "I'll save him" from another player. Failed stat check for that person as well, so now two are drowning. This continued until the entire party was drowning just offshore. Because none of them knew how to swim and all failed their checks. I stared at the chaos and said it. Lucky for them, a pod of dolphins came to the rescue. As their characters lay half drowned in the sand, I made it abundantly clear they had used up their only gimme for that campaign and to make smarter character-driven choices. The party nat 1D a stealth roll, silently removing loose bricks to sneak into a guard tower back office. The entire wall came down violently and loudly and woke the entire guard. Everyone else bailed down in a nearby ditch to hide. The bard asked to do something crazy, I obliged. He grabbed a cloth from his bag, sliced his hand and crudely marked the cloth with a gang symbol from a local criminal sect with his own blood. Having the only lit torch, he threw it into some nearby trees to draw the guards towards him and away from the party. Once in total darkness, he cast a spell to make it sound like he was still running down a path, while he ducked off into some brush to hide. The party somehow survived what should have been a party-killing failure without a single round of combat. As a plus, the guards, having seen the symbol, blamed the gang that was already causing trouble in the city, rounded up their members and hung them in the streets. I decided to roll with it, and what was going to be a classic dungeon exploration story became a story about city revolt and an iron-fisted city watch. I had an alchemist and a tinkerer/engineer in one of my games. Both were obsessed with blowing things up and I let them experiment with different things. Well, they ended up making a metal vase that would direct the explosion in a single direction. I thought they would use it to nuke bad guys. One session they were trekking through a mountain pass and I had intentionally taken out a bridge that was the only way across a gorge to force the players to go through a mountain pass, which was basically the next 2 sessions. They ended up using said vase they had made before to create a rocket sled. I gave them a really high DC to succeed. Nat 20, the whole party flew over this gorge hanging onto a sled for dear life. Welp, there goes 2 weeks of prep work and the next 2 sessions. It screwed me, but it was definitely a memorable moment. Character wanted a deck of many things D20 that manifested random magic effects when rolled. Sure, why not? One of the bad effects was everyone had to make a save, and if they failed, they became hostile towards the character. So it happens a few times, character knows full well that his die can make that happen. They meet Gresh, the unspeakable, the council leader of a town ruled by ghosts, reputed to have conquered entire worlds in life. He rolls the die upon meeting him, and it lands on the Hosely effect. Gresh, being a ghost, possesses the character and makes him slit his own throat. Damn, Gresh has no chill. My group of players had just defeated an evil spirit that could possess the bodies of the recently deceased to gain the strength, attributes, memories, etc. of the dead. Basically, the person who died and the spirit who possessed the body were difficult to tell apart aside from the spirit's ultimate driving purpose, to live in the most powerful body it could and to obey the commands of its creator. Well, the party member who died during the fight asked me in private if the spirit could have taken over his body despite the party following a ritual and destroying its true form. Sure, why not? That's a cool way to bring the character back. The party knew the limits and motivations and everything right now, so I figured they'd figure out the mysteriously resurrected party member was the spirit. Nope. They didn't pick up on it. Only the player who was brought back knew, and he didn't share the secret. Well, they eventually fought the Spirit's master, and let's just say that boy was that a huge reveal. Traveler game about 30 years ago. My first campaign. Players decided to rob a bank on a high-tech domed/airless, significant later, world in the Spin Ward marches. To defeat security, they befriended, then poisoned an Imperial Marine and stole his power armor and fusion rifle. I allowed it, like a fool. They robbed the bank, but the Marine had been reported missing, and so the military and police were both closing in. After a running firefight, they made it to their ship, and made some ridiculous rolls to not get shot down. By this time, the body count was in 3 figures and they've pissed off everyone with a gun within several AUS. So, by the time they exit the dome, they're intercepted by several naval ships, including a cruiser. They had no chance, and they knew it. The only sensible thing to do was surrender and be boarded. They knew that too. So of course they dived the ship straight into the main dome, burning at 2.5 grams. The dome blew, and everything died, including my idiot players and my campaign. 6 million people dead. Still the biggest atrocity I've ever seen in a tabletop RPG. Learned a lot from that one. Edit, thanks for the gold, kind strangers. So, I play wizard a lot. I enjoy breaking things and doing stupid. The peasant railgun is my kind of weapon, to put it simply I'm a munchkin. The 5th level Pathfinder spell Major Creation lets you temporarily create an amount of any metal as long as you can get some in the first place. Plutonium 238 Uranium 235 is found in trace amounts Indiana soil. The 5th level spell Wall of Stone lets you create the wall in any shape you'd like. I spent days researching and mathing this out, and based on the damage of a single stick of dynamite, I figured I could do just north of 12 million d6 damage per megaton. I put this in the back of my head as an O button. My DM is kind, and generally allows me to use my tactics once. I also told him what I had in store, showed him the math and the rules that didn't explicitly prevent me from doing this. One could argue that finding the plutonium 238 uranium 235 in dirt would be a fool's errand, but that's pretty much the biggest flaw this has apart from where did your character learn this? So we're losing. We've burned most of our spells, half the party is dead. I am invisible, and have moved to a point where nobody's going to just stumble into me, think rooftop. The enemy army is swarmed below. I nail the check to correctly identify the plutonium 238 * uranium 235 out of the soil I had gathered in preparation for this trick, spent 10 minutes casting Major Creation to create 15 feet cubed of the stuff, and had my imp cast Wall of Stone from a scroll to encircle the plutonium as a tamper, as plutonium 238 uranium 235, and other nuclear reactions heavily benefit from being encased in anything that will reflect the molecules and intensify the reaction. Like I said, I put time and effort into my goal. Orion as a planet died, because if I can't have it nobody can, evil campaign. I can't tell you what effect it would actually have on the planet, because it's many, many times more powerful than the strongest devices we've created. The best part though? I didn't die. My phylactery was in a snippet of the astral plane. I'm almost certain the gods would have ripped me to shreds for what I did, had the DM cared to roleplay past the end of the world. Edit posted what I sent to my DM here and corrected some things I had flubbed up, as this happened a while ago and my memory is at the best of times. Corrections/extra info is italicized. I had a trap laid in waiting of a bunch of orcs and wargs that were posing as beggars. My lawful good cleric offered to give them aid and money, and asked if there was anyone hurt. I rolled with it, thinking a room would be a better trap for them. He then proceeded to heal the aging leader, gaining his trust and the respect of the gang. The ranger did some animal handling to clean the wargs up and make them healthier. They then had a loyal group of street thugs to gather info off of. This then spun off into a side campaign of only orcs that was crazy fun and was used for fill-in when I wasn't able/ready to DM for a session. Edit Gruumsh. This story blew up.